Hi, good evening everyone. I'll be taking you through the tour of Oracle Service Bus 12C, which is an integration tool. Coming to MindMajix, it is I have 8 years of experience in Oracle Fusion middleware space, and majorly I'm dealing with SOA as well as OSB applications in the real-time world. I started my career with Oracle, where I was into sales team promoting the Oracle SOA suite and implementing the solutions in the real-time world, the real-time business of the customer, where I need to prepare the POCs where exactly we can fit this particular application into the real-time business of the customer. That's how my interest towards the part of designing has increased. I have moved to IBM where I have handled an end-to-end projects, which gave me a good enough grip over Oracle SOA as well as OSB applications. And right now I'm working as a solution architect for one of the manufacturing based company based out of US. As a part of time I will be doing the trainings with MindMajix, and it's been 9 months I have started working with MindMajix on the training. I have just put on the frequently asked questions so that I can take up all the questions at the end of this particular course of the demonstration. So coming to Oracle Service Bus, it is an integration tool at an enterprise layer where it can integrate with multiple applications, where it can integrate with multiple applications irrespective of platform or the domain. It is not the application which is quite cumbersome or more of coding is there. It is quite easy on to the part of development also, where it is being right now merged with Oracle SOA Suite 12C, where both OSB as well as SOA Suite 12C are integration tools that are available with Oracle, where they have merged together and using the same base of Oracle SOA to promote this particular OSB also. For this particular course, you don't really require any prior experience or knowledge on any of this. However, holding the Oracle SOA Suite knowledge will be fetching during the course point of time, because right now Oracle as a company itself has merged both the SOA as well as OSB tools, where new designs which are coming out has a combination of SOA as well as OSB. So if we are just going ahead with OSB, sometimes we might be finding some black spaces as a SOA, but it is not mandatory that one who is having the part of knowledge on OSB has to know the SOA. They can, if they know, they will be having some idea on the part of designs, because SOA also falls into the integration space, but there is no dependency that if we get SOA then only come to OSB. OSB can be individually learned also. And the basics which are required on the part of what is the backend language they are using, and as such we will be doing first to 2 sessions where I'll be taking you to the knowledge of XML web services, which gives you a complete idea on the integration space. It's not only deals with the web services, REST services, it deals with multiple applications, where each and every application, irrespective of platform or domain, we will be able to connect and retrieve or exchange the data between the applications at an enterprise level. And coming to the practical demonstrations, we are not going to do any non-real-time projects. Like we are going to do the practicals on the real-time environment with respect to the real-time situations, so that the customer or basically the participant can be well equipped with the experience of taking up the projects with respect to the OSB. When he completes this particular course, we are providing the projects of practicals on the real-time surface with real-time designs and methods, which will be a fetching factor for the participant, where he will be capable enough of handling the projects once after the course is completed. We are going to give you a top class material which I have been collecting from the long back, like 4+ years, where I have placed it in a Google Drive where I'll be sharing you the link which will have interview related questions, the materials and useful blogs, links and presentations and software, everything. It has in a single link. It will be a lifetime access which I'll be providing you for that particular course material. I'll keep on adding these particular links or these things and updating whenever I come across new things. I'll be upgrading. That will also be accessible and it will be always like updating one. And it does have the interview questions, some of the quizzes and certification dumps and sample resumes are also available over there, where we also provide the resume assistance for that. Most of the participants who are going to attend my training are the real-time working participants. They don't really get the time during the weekdays or sometimes during weekends. So they definitely need some time to go through the part of course or these things. I'm providing 2 months of mentoring support through email, WhatsApp and weekend session. Once after the sessions are completed, because I will be regularly in touch with them during the course completion process. So after 2 months also, I'm definitely providing the part of services, but to the part of 2 months, I'm just helping on the rigorous note that I'll be following up with you guys and I'll be just finding out if they want any sort of repetition of the course, if they want any sort of assistance on any of the real-time implementations and such, so that they can settle down and feel that whatever they have spent on going through this course has been really worthwhile. So that is the main motive. I'm just giving this particular last point as a support one, which you usually don't get from other part of institutes or as such, where it is one of the points where you can make a note. Coming to the course curriculum, we are going to have the concepts with respect to the OSB and how the OSB is being acquired from Oracle and what are the reasons it is able to acquire and why instead of having the SOA as an integration tool which is at enterprise level, why this particular OSB is being acquired from the EA systems. All these things will be discussed during the introduction concepts of OSB. What are the tools available for monitoring as well as managing the OSB applications is also there. And the introduction to the components like proxy service, business service, and pipeline, which are going to be a major role players in the part of integration from source to target system. And we are going to understand the pipeline related activities which are helpful for us to orchestrate and create the part of logic, perform the customizations from source to target systems is possible in using these activities of pipeline, and what are the features that are available in pipeline and the real-time practical part that we are going to do in this particular understanding the features and the practical parts of pipeline. These all will be having the real-time scenarios that we will be covering this one. And we have so many adapters available to connect to the multiple systems like SAP adapter, Salesforce adapters, ServiceNow adapter, e-business suite adapter. So adapters are more like a predefined templates where we will have an wizard open where we just need to key in the connection related details and just try to use the details there. If we want to call any database, what are the database systems, what are the part of the tables that we want to call, or if we want to call any procedure, which procedure. We just have to do it on the simple steps of the wizard. Those are the predefined. We do have a third-party adapter where we can do the customization of the application. In case if the particular adapter is not predefined already, we can also customize our own adapter and try to connect to the target or the source systems to retrieve or to receive the data or to trigger the data. And we have practical discussion where we will be covering the part of practicals on the DB adapter, file adapter, FTP, as well as CMS queues and topics with the practical sessions. And we have an component along with the pipeline called split join component, which we will be covering with the part of the features that are available. Specifically, the split join is meant for parallel processing. In case if we want to parallelly call multiple systems, then we will be using this particular split join component to call multiple systems and interact with multiple systems parallel on the parallel node, whereas pipeline is mostly used for sequential. So we are going to understand the differences, the part of activities available, and how we are going to implement that. Basically, split join real-time example will not be offered, whereas in pipeline we are going to cover the complete real-time example. As the split join related environment is not available, however, the practical part on this will be covered with a sample that is available with us, where we will be able to represent what exactly we can do. And coming to today's agenda, we will be just understanding at a high level on what OSB is and what is something it is going to cover. And I have a topic where how exactly the message from source to target system moves on and who are the key players where we can understand. So that's to understand what is the flavor of the OSB and what is the scope of Oracle Service Bus 12 in the market, and what are the certification available and projects available. Coming to Oracle Service Bus, it is an integration tool at an enterprise level where it is capable enough of communicating with multiple source and target systems and provide or coordinate between them. Basically, we call or term it as orchestration, where we will be able to coordinate with each and every system irrespective of the platform and the domain they are holding. It's an integration tool which is being developed by BEA Systems, who is the product owner of WebLogic Server, based upon the features like it's being very lightweight component. And the other feature it has is secured by architecture. It's another feature of the Oracle Service Bus, through which it is being acquired by the Oracle. Instead of holding their own integration application called Oracle Server Suite, Oracle has purchased Oracle Service Bus, WebLogic Service Bus when it was there with BEA system. After acquiring, they have Oracle has renamed it as Oracle Service Bus and merged it with Oracle Server Suite 12. So on the part of designing or the part of implementation, you will not find any difference. For example, if you are taking the software of Oracle Server Suite, you will also get the software of the Oracle Service Bus licensing or everything within the same. So it is being right now merged into LC, and the IDE, which is JDeveloper, we will be using the same for both as well as OSB similar way. So however, those are two different applications. Oracle treats it as one because customer can utilize either if he wants to go with the heavy related implementations, he can go with Oracle Server Suite. Else, if he wants to go with very lightweight related application implementations, wherever necessary, they can utilize Oracle Service Bus. So completely, it's an end-to-end integration space or tool or application what Oracle wants to sponsor or basically provide to them. Coming to Oracle Service Bus, I was stating that we have particular components which will help us. Like one is proxy service, which we will be always providing to the client, and the business service, which we will be always providing to the source target system. Oracle Service Bus has few components like proxy service, business service, which will be interacting with the source and target systems. Always we utilize proxy service to interact with the source system, because the structure is being made in such a way, and we have two connecting point called the pipeline, which will be connecting the proxy service as well as the business service. Business service in turn is going to interact with the target system. So this is how the architecture is being made. I was stating that for two reasons, particular application has been purchased from VBA systems. The two reasons were, one, it is being very light component, lightweight, whereas SOA Suite has a few of the components like business rules, human workflow, and various other options, which made it a bit cumbersome when compared, but it has its own advantages while implementing the high-level enterprise level application. Whereas Oracle Service Bus, whenever there is no need of the business rules or human workflow implementations, and it's quite straightforward integrations can be implemented using the Oracle Service Bus. Coming to this particular security part by architecture, secured by architecture component, we have this particular security provided in such a way that we are not providing this particular target service directly to the target service. We are not exposing this target service directly to the source system. We are involving the business service as well as the proxy service to the source system. We are involving the business service as well as the proxy service to interact with the source system. What is the advantage? Let me give you an example where we can better understand about part of security it is able to offer. For example, I have a credit card business, and I have already provided 100 credit cards with some amount in it as a credit to 100 users, and I have those details stored in the database, and this particular database might be holding the huge confidential data like the name of the holder of that particular credit card number, and various other which are highly confidential information is available. That particular information I have to definitely expose to the external parties like the payment gateways or any third party systems, so that they can verify the part of details like if the CVV provided by the user or these particular details like the expiry provided by user are definitely correct or not. But at the same time, I'm a bit worried that the third-party verification user who is just trying to connect to me and verify those details is the really appropriate person or someone who's trying to hack my system or do any sort of manipulation of my system. At the same time, I'm very much worried that the other data is not exposed to the user. For this type of architecture will help my user to be very much confident, because I'm not directly giving the server to the client. I am involving a business service which is capable enough of taking the data, and my user is most confident, my client is most confident, because a known person is only one who is accessing this particular table. And in turn, business service is passing on the data to the pipeline in turn is passing on the data to the proxy service, and the proxy service is something which is exposed to the client. So to the maximum extent, if any sort of manipulation or the things are going wrong, it can happen to the proxy service, because there is a difference of understanding between there is a pipeline which will not be able to track the things that easy. We do have a sort of message processing which we understand better with this particular example, how the message flows from source to target system. So here we see that first a client is going to send the message to the service bus using the protocol, and that protocol has a type of text, whether it is a file type or whether it's a web service, it will be HTTP. In case if it is something like JMSQ or a topic, it will be some protocol will be of JMS, and in case of a database, it will be a JDBC. This particular protocol will help Oracle Service Bus to understand what exactly it is receiving from the source. Once after it is being received by the transport protocol, it hands over the message to the particular binding layer, which is a part of the proxy service. Binding layer has two options that are available. One is packing and unpacking of the messages, and handles part of message security, which means that it is just trying to decode that particular document which it has received from certain known language to its own language, where exactly it says packing and unpacking of the messages. We are not aware of what language it transfers, because it is something like I'll be explaining you in few minutes. So it also handles the part of the security and hands off the messages to the pipeline. Pipeline in turn performs the validation, transformation, logging, reporting, and does all the logical related operations, and then hands off the message to the business service or another proxy service. In the similar way, it is going to get the response. I have the representation of the part of theory in the diagrammatic format, what we have just gone through. A client is going to send a request. It will have some HTTP related, the transport protocol, which is of HTTP type, file type, email, FTP, JMS or NQ, which in turn hands off the message with that particular protocol to this, where it will be packing and unpacking the messages and passing on it to the pipeline. Pipeline in turn passes on to the business service. Business service in turn has the binding as well as transport layers, which will try to convert the pipeline known language into the document type, which is of target system, and then tries to apply the relevant HTTP type and passes on to the service. It gets the response back, converts it, passes on to the pipeline, and pipeline in turn passes on to the proxy and passes here. For example, think of a situation where I'm trying to get the data from a database and then write it into a file. The file is in TXT format, whereas database in JDBC format, where we fetch the data from tables and columns and like tables, rows and columns. Whenever I'm fetching, the data type is of something like JDBC, which in turn returns the data in the form of XML or text related one, and then it will pass on to the pipeline and this one. So I was stating that it is more secured in terms, because here if we clearly see, the pipeline will not be able to understand the language which is spoken by client. So binding layer is just doing a transition of packing and unpacking of messages, where it is converting into a certain sort of language which will be only understood by the pipeline. Pipeline in turn will be capable enough of providing the same services to the business service, which does know the language what exactly pipeline is speaking. So in turn, pipeline has capability to convert those details into the service. And so that is the reason in this example I was just stating that the maximum extent with any manipulation is happening or any sort of issue is happening, it will be the maximum extent of proxy service, because the user can maximum try to handle the situation to this particular part, and after this he may not know where exactly the conversion is, how exactly to do. That's how it is more secured by. And we are going to learn many more concepts of what are the activities available, what are the features of the proxy and business services and methods during our sessions part. Coming to the market scope of basically SOA as well as OSB, here because the implementations of SOA as well as OSB are together now in 12C. Implementations, we can understand that like Oracle by own itself has owns right now 200 plus companies, which means like applications like PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Hyperion. We have something like Primavera, NetSuite. They have also purchased Java. So many applications, and they do offer the membership like gold membership, silver membership, platinum. So has multiple applications needs an integration to speak with each other. Oracle by themselves promotes this particular application of Oracle Server Suite 12c, which has a component of OSB also, and they have concentrated on this complete OSB as well as SOA together, because any of the customer wants to implement integration, they have both heavyweight components which can really huge or manage huge integrations at SOA layer as well as OSB layer to handle simple integrations and very lightweight related things at the OSB layer. So both are capable enough of handling the data set. So it all depends on the architect and the designers who are using of which component, and there are so many integrations which are right now building up with both SOA as well as OSB within the single integration. If I'm taking the data from source systems, I utilize SOA to take the data and then pass on the data to the OSB, and OSB in turn invoke the target systems or trigger the messages to the target system, whatever the response. It is a complete sort of integration tool, because the licensing part as well as the certification part or any sort of differentiation is not there with respect to SOA and OSB. But OSB has its own features and all these things where we can utilize the part of course majorly covering the concepts of OSB, and having its own features. We are going to cover these things in OSB part of training. And coming to the part of roles that are available, we have a developer role, technical lead or consultant role, and architect role. When coming to 10 or 12 years of experience, we can also apply for architect roles where we get into part of designing. The things they have made easy with 12c is they have completely merged Oracle Service Bus in SOA Suite and promoting it with the same licensing. Because earlier in 11g it was quite different, like SOA was a separate component application and OSB was a separate application, but right now they have merged everything together in 12c, and they treat licensing, the part of software, the part of certification, everything as the same. We can have the same server for both OSB as well as SOA applications together. So that's how they have merged it, and we use the same JDeveloper. This is a development IDE for this one on the same one. And especially with 12c, they have also made the integrations with mobile Internet of Things as well as cloud easy with the upgradation to the cloud. They have made these things very much easy. And the part of certification which we are going to write with the OSB questions in it is the Oracle Server Suite 12c Essentials, because right now, as said, 12c is no more like 12c OSB is no more different from Server Suite. So they have certification offered within the single one, but we are offering the part of training as a separate one, because it has its own features, it has its own quite until 11g both the applications were different, and we are offering this trainings from 11g. We are also continuing on the part of offering on 12c also, but the part of coverage will be quite different. And we are going to cover two real-time projects where we are going to create data of taking the data from multiple source systems and passing on to the single target system, where we are going to involve both SOA and OSB services. However, in case if you have no idea about Oracle Server Suite, I will be explaining during this project of how exactly those components will be working. But in-depth knowledge, we need to go for Oracle's OSB course where we will be covering both SOA as well as OSB. However, you do not have to worry on not having an idea about Oracle's OSB, because I'm going to explain during our sessions on what exactly we are doing, what is that component doing, how will it be useful, and as such. And this particular real-time service is being built on AIA architecture, which will have the requester service provider related options that will be giving us an idea about the architectural designs that we can implement during our real-time business. In what scenarios we can implement that particular architecture will also be discussed during the practical implementation. All we require is a 4GB RAM, 64-bit processor, software of JDeveloper SOA as well as OSB will be provided by me, which you can install on that system. And coming to the second project that we are going to implement during our practical session is the part of order creation from a customer service team. For example, you have a refrigerator where you find the handle of the refrigerator is broken and you call up call center for that particular company, and company sends their technician to fix it. From the time the customer service person keys in the work order to the time where the scheduling of the particular order is going to happen, the part of invoicing, the part of work order reaching the technician application where the technician is going to get the alert of when the appointment is, where exactly the appointment is, and where to reach before going, what are the particular parts he needs to collect and try to fix it, and all these things. End-to-end process of real-time implementation of SOA and OSB will be discussed and implemented in this particular project too, which will give us how the real-time business implementations are going to be. The first application and the project is going to be more like the order management related application where we get the orders from different source systems. The second implementation is more into the part of the end-to-end participation of how the transactions and interfaces gets involved, how the invoicing team involves, how the billing of that particular technician is going to be done, and how much the customer needs to be charged, and what will be the service, the state taxes. All these things will be involved during our study project, which will give us a complete end-to-end experience during that particular practical session, where you will be given an opportunity to provide a new implementation on the Oracle Service Bus. Definitely, you will be capable enough of just making it through. That is the part. Along with that, my 2 months of mentoring will also help you out on understanding the things better, and the part of support that I give you after the training also will make you understand, because most of my participants who will not be able to concentrate because of the work schedules or the hectic days during the part of training, they can just concentrate during the part of support and try to utilize this. So that's how these projects will be giving a major boost to your participation, and mostly these projects are going to make us quite unique from other institutes which are offering this added advantage when you try to compare it with the others. And we are going to have no instance the provision to you, like we give you the software directly, which is lifetime accessible. All you require is a 4GB RAM and processor. We will help you in part of installation, and where you can log in anytime and practice anytime whenever you are free. You don't have to really worry on the downtime. If we are providing instance, it will be downtime, but otherwise you own the software, you own the system. You automatically you will be able to practice anytime and do your part of practicals and reach us anytime during the part of training, and 2 months after the support will also be provided depending upon the situation. And we will be providing the materials with respect to the complete OSB as well as SOVA, because I have collectively collected all these and stored it at the same place. So you can also go to the SOVA topics in case if you are willing to, because OSB material has no separate blog. It is a collection of SOVA as well as OSB related materials, case studies, as well as interview questions and reviews. So in case if you are also applying for the OSB related one, we will also provide you guidance and resume preparation help during your part of this week when you want to look out for opportunities. And any questions with respect to this, you can just have it over here. And in case if you have any information needed with respect to the timings, please reach us on the below provided email IDs and the phone numbers. And thank you so much for the opportunity, and please share us your feedback, which will help us improve our quality of the training and make us